Hey y'all, it's Michael Lunsford here at the office again, and I think I'm going to start calling these videos "Fun with Numbers" because I'm sorry. They say that the numbers are all right, and we should just trust them. I like to check the numbers. So here we are, the comprehensive annual financial report from the Lafayette Parish School System. You're going to be hearing this number coming up as we get closer to the April 29th ballot initiative to raise your sales tax. And you have go vote however you want to vote, whether you want to raise your own sales tax. Never mind, John Bell Edwards is raising all kinds of taxes in the state legislature by the time he's done in June 8th, I think. Who knows where we'll be, but go ahead and raise your own sales tax by half a penny. Not me, sorry. All right. So average cost per student. How do we get to an average cost per student number? Well, basically we take the total amount of money that's designated to the Lafayette Parish School System, and we take the total amount of students that are in the school system, and we divide one by the other. So you divide the total number, and let me show you what the total number, you're going to hear the $17,000 number. I want you to be able to reproduce this yourself because you hear that, oh, that's not right. If you turn to page 154, it's only $10,881, which if you know anything about private school tuition, that's still high. Private school tuition, I want to say the higher end schools that everybody knows the names of, $7,500 is not an uncommon number in that realm. So we're still higher here. Oh, but it's not that much higher. We have school buses and we have other things we have to contend with. Okay, fine. 17,000 is pretty significant though, wouldn't you agree? So let's take a look. Page number 19, which is 45 in the PDF. Right here. Here's a number. Let me get in there real tight. $491,886,000, right? That's $492 million. Where does this number come from? Because they say, oh, you can't use that number. That's double accounting. We're counting stuff more than one time, and that shouldn't be done. It's the total expenditures plus the total revenues, and that's not right. Somebody said that to me, and they didn't think I was going to check on it. Look at this. Page number 9. How do you get to $491 million? I don't know. This is the only place in the whole document it's listed. It must be important, though, because they sure don't like me using it. All right, so page number 9, we've got total revenues. See there, it's over, this column is 2016. So total revenues and total expenditures. That's the big number and the big number. And if you add those together, let's just in our head, let's do some math. $345 million to $330 million is what, $675 million. That's not $491 million. That's not how they get that number. I don't know where that comes from, but we're going to have fun with it anyway. We're going to go and we're going to get our handy-dandy calculator, and I want you to enter this number, $491,886,115. That is the total unified budget for the Lafayette Parish School System for 2016. Okay? Page 19, right here in the PDF. Pause the screen. There's the number. There it is. Okay? That's the number. What we're going to do is we're going to divide that by another number. Now, 214 pages. Guess what number's not included in here? How many kids show up to school every day? Why would you not put that in 214-page document? I don't know. But who has that number? The school system has to report that number to the Lafayette Parish School Board, to the State Department of Education. So I call the State Department of Education. They actually have it on their website. Now, they have it through 2012. They said they kind of fell behind. I guess nobody's called asking them for it. So they're working to get that improved and get 13, 14, 15, and 16 up there. But you can call them and you can ask them or you can email them, hey, what's the average daily attendance for Lafayette Parish School Board for 2016? Well, I did that. You know what they told me? They said 28,491. Okay, so let's divide that number by 28,491. We're talking attendance. I think that's realistic. Okay, so if we take the total number and we're coming up with $17,265 cost per student per year, okay, that's where that number comes from. You can reproduce this yourself right here with this document. Now, if you don't want to use the average daily attendance, I'm going to show you some other number you can use. I'm not going to do the math on that one. I'll maybe rattle off the number, but right here is page 154. This is the easy number. This is the number they tell you is $10,881. Well, how do they arrive at that number? Well, they divide the total number, the total dollar amount, which they say is $328 million, right here. Where does that number show up in the document? This is the only 214 pages. This is the only one that number shows up on. All right, so 30,171 is the total number of students they have enrolled in the Lafayette Parish School System for 2016. Well, that number shows up in a few places. They actually do the math. Oh, look at that. On the very next page, page 155. What does that math look like? Well, there it is, 30,171. You see that down here? Not this orange arrow. That orange arrow is actually pointing to an incorrect number in their document. And I'm going to leave this on here for a second so you can add those together if you want to. But 8,542 is not the 2016 enrollment for the high schools. And how do we know that? Because we just turn the page in the document and, oh yeah, remember this one? This is the page, this is the capital asset information sheet we used last time where we proved that you could actually take 217 of the portable buildings they want to remove from the elementary school system because they're evil and they got to go. You can get rid of them all, not build anything, and we still have room for 2,500 or 2,700 kids in the system as it stands today without building anything. Isn't that crazy? All right. Don't get me started again, okay? So what we're going to do is we're going to use that same document. And what's that number I gave you a minute ago? 8,542, right? Where do you see that? Do you see that document, that number anywhere? Look at that. There it is, 8,542. What column is that in? Oh, no. That's last year's column. Well, what's in this year's column? Oh, that's a different number. That's 8,145. Now, if we take these enrollment numbers and we add them all together, we're not going to come up with a 30,171. We're going to come up with 29,774, okay? So if we just do that, if all we did was correct this one error and we still use our $328 million number from this other page, the average cost per student page, that doesn't appear anywhere else in the document, we're going to come up with $11,025 cost per student, okay? I'm not going to do the math on my handy-dandy calculator, but we are going to reserve the calculator for a little bit of math here because I know how much you love using your calculator. All right? What we're going to do is we're going to take that 29,774 and we're going to divide it into the number that they said we're not allowed to use the unified budget. We're supposed to use the number from page 9, which is the total revenue budget. And this total revenue, $342 million right here, that actually does show up all over the place. It shows up in a number of places through the document. So, I mean, it must be a good number. So let's do that. Okay? Got your handy-dandy calculator ready? We're going to take that number. I'm going to read it off to you, but you back up and pause the screen if you want. 342,601,237. There it is. Divided by the number that we figured out was wrong in their document. Their audited document, by the way. It's been audited and released. 29,774. So that's the number I get. 11,506. Not huge from 11,000, $25. It's $500 more. But still, I mean, I'm showing you $11,000 cost per student is still, even with their numbers, is substantial. If you could send your kid to private school, let's do that. Let's send our kid to private school on public money. That's the school voucher program, right? So let's take out $7,500 for your favorite school. Now, it won't get you all of them. It won't get you to some of the woohoo, but it'll get you the ones that you've heard about. There's no way I could afford that. There's no way. They're $7,500 a year. So subtract $7,500 from that $11,000. You've got $4,000 left over. Well, the school system could just put that in their pocket, call it a day, send your kid to a great private school that has covered walkways. They have, all the facilities. They're breaking all these records. They've got great education. You've heard great things about, kids that graduated this school. You hear about them. They become mayors. They become these big politicians. They become great folks coming out of these private schools. And the Lafayette school system could save $4,000 if they just send them to that school and let's do something else with this money. What do you think of that?